The Unplayable Podcast is proudly presented by Qantas, the official podcast partner and the official airline partner of Cricket Australia. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Unplayable Podcast. Big week in cricket. The season is well and truly underway. Josh on a finger here, joined by Kane Richardson again. Mates, how's your week been?
It's been good. Good to be back, as always. Looking forward to this one.
You've been enjoying the live streams of all the cricket that's been going on around the world?
I have. I still haven't downloaded the cricket.com app. So I'll get to that, the cricket.com.au app. I'll get to that after the show. But yeah, some great stuff over the weekend and some more to look forward to this week.
Let's start with our weekly winner, as we always do.
I'll give it to you first this week. I always feel like it's about me. What have you kick things off?
Well, mine's sort of related to you.
Okay.
Because you've given it to me a few times, which has always made me pretty embarrassed. But today we're going to be focusing a bit on you because you've got some big news to announce. You've signed with us with the Big Bash team for this season.
Yep.
And we're going to reveal who it is on this podcast.
Yes. So I'm your weekly winner because of that.
For that reason. Yeah, that's exciting news.
It is. Yeah. It's very kind of you to make it about me. I'll try and make it about cricket though and throw it back. But thank you, Josh. My weekly winner, I have two. I had two because I thought you were going to take one of them.
All right.
Well, the Aussie girl is making 400 in an ODI. That deserves a weekly winner status, and to do it off 47 overs, incredible game. I'm sure we'll get to. But also young Hugh Weebgen from Queensland, 115 off 94 in a chase under lights against WA to get Queensland over the line. So dual weekly winners, more worthy than I am for signing a piece of paper to play Big Bash cricket. So, but thank you again.
Yeah, well, as you said, we will definitely get to those. We've got Laura Jolly from India to give us an update on what's happening over there with the Australia's women. And Hugh Weebgen as well with that magnificent 100. We'll get to the domestic stuff as well. But right off the top, let's talk about your Big Bash team, who you've signed for. You were the Renegades last year, previously been the Strikers as well. How are we going to announce who gets your loyalties this year?
Well, yeah, so 6 years at Adelaide, 8 years at the Gades. Would love to have finished at the Gades. Things didn't pan out that way, but keen to play on again, kind of surveyed the landscape and see who was out there for an old aging quick that could play a couple of games here or there and landed on a team. So, look what we just found. I don't know what this is, but it's a massive balloon.
Yeah, it's a big balloon. It almost looks like something that you'd reveal a gender with.
It is a bit like that. I don't know who put that there. For those only listening, I've just found a massive black balloon in the studio. And conveniently, there's a pin right next to it.
It feels like it should be popped.
Is it my duty to pop?
Let's do it. Let's see.
It's a girl. It's pink.
Pink confetti, everybody. Pink confetti, that means magenta, I'm guessing. Sydney Sixers, Richo?
Yeah, well, it's not red, so it's not a faded red. It's pink. So, yeah, the Sydney Sixers,
wow,
this is going to take some cleaning up. This is, whoever planned this has done it well. The Sixers.
Fantastic. So what was the process there? How did you land on that? I mean, what a magnificent team to be joining.
Yeah, no, look, I was, I don't want to go into it too much and make it about me, but there was a couple of teams I was really interested in joining, and one being Adelaide, who I played for last, just purely off-field. Being around family down there over Christmas would have been lovely, and missed the Adelaide Oval, but they went a different direction with their overseas quicks, which is fine. The Sixers opportunity kind of opened up. I've always admired that team. Strong, always competitive, always in the finals. And for me in my career, it's now hoping to play for a team where I can play some meaningful games, and I'm doubting that I'll play every game, but to play a supportive role to that really strong bowling group and experienced team, that really appealed to me. So, yeah, can't wait to join him.
Well, just looking at their squad now, they've got some magnificent players signed already. Babar Azam is the big one from Pakistan. But, of course, there's also Steve Smith and Sam Curran as well coming across. So, in terms of star power, the Sixers have always had it, and they're going to have it again this season.
Yeah, but they've kept over the journey the basis of, their core local guys together. Moses has been there from day one. So, yeah, they've always recruited well overseas guys. They've kept, James Vincent till this year has been back for, a long time. They keep consistent. They keep people together, which I think matters. And, Greg Shippett and Moses have led the way there with that. But as I said, the bowling group's really experienced. Sean Abbott and Ben Dwarsh just leading the way, two of the best Big Bash bowlers, that have been produced. So, yeah, really can't wait to pull on the magenta, as you said, and just excited for a new challenge and something new.
And you were talking about last week how one of your career highlights was smashing Ben Dorshus for 6 over cover. So maybe you can bring up those memories again in the nets.
Well, maybe he's glad. He's probably the happiest man of all that I'm on his team. I'm only joking. I'll bring it up. I probably won't be putting the pads on the nets to face him anymore, but I'll remind him of it for sure.
Have you would have played a fair bit at the SCG, I reckon, against the Sixers. Any memories that sort of stick out again about playing?
To be honest, not many good ones because
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of 14 years, how many times we won there. I'd count them on one hand, maybe 2 or 3 times. I reckon we actually won. And a lot of memories of a short boundary and Jordan Silk just destroying me to it. So again, happy to join.
Yep,
services.
Silk will be there again.
He'll be on my team. So, it's just a great place to play. I know it's always the highlight of the schedule when it comes out when you're playing at the SCG. For some reason, it was our first game for the Renegades the last few years. Kick off the season at the SCG. Beautiful weather. You know, Steve Smith was playing on a few of those occasions, so it was a big house. I would say speaking to the guys that when they last won the trophy, I think it was BBL 12, maybe 13, one of those years when they beat Perth at the SCG. Everyone who was there that night reckons that's the best domestic crowd they've ever played in front of.
Really?
So there's something about that ground when they're on a roll. So yeah, hopefully can experience that.
The Sixers have also announced that this season they're going to have a Babaristan sort of promotion where there's going to be a dedicated bay at the SCG dedicated for Baba Azam fans just to sit. Do you think there'll be more green or more pink in that sort of bay of the SCG?
Wow, there'll be a combination of both. I reckon his merch will sell out pretty quick if they're making Sydney Sixers shirts. Great idea, though, to engage, the local community that are, if they're fans of Babar Azam, they finally get to see him up close and, personal for, half the season at the SCG to, engage them and really connect Sydney with, Pakistan fans. And I think one of the games early on is against Haris Rauf as well when he plays for the Stars. So all of a sudden you got 2 heavyweights of Pakistan cricket coming up against each other, batter versus bowler. That's kind of the stuff that Big Bash has built upon in the last 14 years and, adds another layer of the rivalries this year. So, really good idea. It would be very loud in that corner. Or I don't know how big a day it is, but it's going to be the life of the party.
Well, mate, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
the news. Should we move on or do you want to keep talking about it a little bit longer?
No, look, I'm happy to talk offline more about it. But that's enough about me.
All right, let's get to the Aussie women. As you said, they have been dominating in India so far. They won their one-day series against the hosts 2-1 in the lead-in to their ODI World Cup that's coming up. And that third match in Delhi was an absolute run fest, 400 plus for Australia. And it was almost chased down by India. Smriti Mandana got a 50-ball century. I caught up with Laura Jolly a little earlier to talk about what it's like over there at the minute and just how the Aussie squad is shaping up ahead of what's going to be a massive tournament. So now we're joined by Laura Jolly, cricket.com.au's women's editor. She's over there in India for the World Cup at the minute and has just seen Australia pull off a 2-1 victory over the hosts in the ODI series. LJ, how's life over there in the subcontinent?
It's great over here. We've got a few quieter days in Bengaluru at the moment, so I think everyone's just enjoying a chance to explore this city, which seems very cool, and just switch our attention now to the World Cup.
How was Delhi? I know that it's a bit of a hustle and bustle type city, and there was action on the field as well as off it.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a shock to the system for everyone after our week in Chandigarh, which is a very chill city by comparison. Everyone was a bit taken aback by the levels of traffic and the sheer number of people, but we enjoyed our brief little visit, and it was like one of the more extraordinary matches I've seen at the third ODI. They hadn't played a women's one-dayer there since the 90s, so we didn't really know what to expect. Had heard it was likely to be a high-scoring match, but I think what actually transpired blew us all away.
We will get to that third ODI, but I do want to start with the news that came out on Tuesday afternoon. Grace Harris out of the ODI, of the World Cup squad. She's got a calf injury and she's going to be replaced by Heather Graham. So what do we know about that one, LJ?
Yeah, it's so disappointing for Grace. She said she was surprised to be picked in this World Cup squad, but she'd had such a fantastic run in England over the winter to get herself into this squad and to give herself every chance of playing a one-day World Cup match for the first time. But unfortunately, she's pinged her calf in the field during that third ODI. We did notice she was off the field for a bit during that second innings, probably after she took her 1 wicket for the match. And yeah, unfortunately, the news came through this morning that it's a severe enough calf that she's not going to be able to get better before the World Cup's over. So unfortunately, she has to go home now, and Heather Graham will head over in a few days' time once she's played a couple of WNCL matches.
It's probably a little early to speculate, but I mean, a calf injury, does that impact her WBBL as well, potentially?
They've said it's a calf strain. They didn't exactly say what grade it was, but you'd imagine it's a slightly more severe one to rule her out of a World Cup that doesn't start for another week or so. But she's got till November 9 to be right for WBBL, so hopefully she's going to be right for that.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Now, for Heather Graham, she comes in. She's been around the Aussie squad a fair bit. For those who maybe haven't seen a lot of HG, as she's known, what can we sort of expect from her?
I'll be honest, I was surprised she wasn't in this World Cup squad from the start, just because she is that kind of utility spare player. She can bat, she can bowl. She is that extra pace option. So I think she's a handy backup player to have. I don't see her getting a game unless they get a couple of injuries, but she is that really versatile player who can come in. And she has had a little bit of success when she's played here in the past. She took a hat-trick in a T20 over here a couple of years ago. She's played a bit of WPL, so she's a handy addition to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's always handy to have experience in those conditions, just so foreign to a lot of Aussies. The other one who is coming off a bit of an injury concern was Sophie Molyneux. We were told she wasn't going to play in the ODI series. Has she been around training? What's the sort of latest on Sophie?
Yeah, I think to borrow a term from AFL preseason, she has been training the house down over here in India. They've really been putting her knee through its paces. She's been batting and bowling in the nets, but I think more notably, she's been doing some really intense sessions with Geordie, the S&C, where she's been fully padded up, holding the bat and just testing that knee, running quick singles, running up and down. So she's been testing exactly what she can do on that knee, and so far it seems like she's coming through all right. So at the moment, I think she's penciled in to play the warm-up game on Sunday. Hopefully she gets through that all right and will be available for selection after that.
Fantastic. That's great news. We also saw a bit of a calf cramp, I think, from Elise Perry in that first ODI. Now, obviously, she played out the series, but has the heat and the conditions been taking a bit of a toll on some of the players, would you say?
Yeah, I think it was a bit surprising for everyone just how intense it was, because we kind of saw them go and get confronted by similar conditions in the UAE last year, and they did a similar heat preparation protocol before going over. Didn't have the same issues, but I guess fielding first in the heat in the daytime was a bit of a difference. Chandigarh and a 50-over match is a bit different to a T22. So I think they said they felt like they've been hit by a truck to a degree after that first match, but I can imagine it's only going to get easier from here on out.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly those games where you much prefer to sit in the aircon of the press box than be out in the middle of those stinking hot grounds.
Conversely, we've been wearing jumpers in the press box because they've been a little bit like an igloo. So we definitely can't complain.
So let's talk about that ODI series. Australia won the first, they lost the second, and then they won the third in unbelievable circumstances. I woke up to the scorecard, LJ, and I couldn't believe my eyes. A couple of records were broken. Beth Mooney with a 57 ball 100, and then Smriti Mandana with a 50 ball 100. I mean, what was it? Could you believe your eyes? It was fantastic scoring rates.
It was. And you just genuinely felt so sorry for the bowlers because there was nothing they could do. The outfield was so fast that it was impossible to cut anything off. As soon as it got hit, it was gone. Fantastic fun to watch. But, you really did feel for anyone who had to be in the field that day. And honestly, the Australians probably should have scored about 450. It was just a bit of poor luck that saw Beth Mooney run out when she was, and they kind of lost 5 for 30 after there to get bowled out with 3 overs to go. So you can only imagine what they could have done if they had batted out their innings.
And then looking at the scorecard, India were about 2 for 200 after about 20 overs. So it must have felt like, oh, hang on a second, they're a chance here.
Yeah, we genuinely thought at that point they might chase it in 40 overs. That was how well Smriti Mandana was hitting them. And honestly, the way she got out, it was almost a waist high full toss from Grace Harris that she just didn't fully connect with and ended up getting caught. So it was a really good test for Australia, I think. If we get pitches like that during the World Cup and players are coming at them that hard, it did show how they held their nerve, kept coming up with different plans, trying new things, and they did find a way to stop India in the end. Even when Deepti was going, they still could have chased it. So very good test.
Yeah, were there any bowlers in particular who you thought really stood up under immense pressure?
Yeah, I thought Talia McGrath was really good at coming in and just being that calm head and holding her own there a bit. I thought when Megan Shute came back on later on, she was very good at tying them up and keeping them quiet. Same with Kim Garth. I thought Kim was excellent.
And 300 wickets for Megan Shute now in international cricket, but her 300th probably not quite in the circumstances that she would have hoped.
Yeah, to be honest, we kind of hoped she wouldn't get it in that match given the circumstances. It's a bit hard to celebrate your 300th too much on that kind of flat track when everyone's getting belted. And as it was, Elisa Healy fumbled the stumping chance, got there in the end, but it was all a bit of a calamitous dismissal. But a very nice milestone for Megan Shute, and one that I'm sure will mean a lot down the track.
Yeah, I mean, what a genuine legend she's been for this Aussie side well over a decade now. Across the series, LJ, any other players or moments that stand out from you that I think could become important as we head into the tournament proper?
It was good to see most of the players get some time in the middle. Good to see the spinners all have a pretty good workout as well. Georgia Bowl showed she's going to be a very, very good backup if anything happens to one of the batters during this World Cup. I would expect Phoebe Litchfield to be fit and come back into the team for the opening game, but for Volley to come out and score 88 in that third one day was very exciting for her as well.
Yeah, that's great. Australia's warm-up match is against England in Bengaluru. That's on the 28th of September. Is that going to be televised, that one, LJ? Can people tune in?
No, it's not going to be televised, unfortunately, so just live scores for that one and maybe some highlights afterwards. But it should be a good test. England have been over in Abu Dhabi playing some warm-up matches against New Zealand with some mixed results. So be interesting to see how they come up against Australia and if there are any lingering scars from the Ashes earlier in the year.
How could there not be? I mean, you'll be there, you'll be covering it, so all the coverage will be on cricket.com.au and the CA Live app. And for the actual World Cup, Amazon Prime subscribers, they can watch the tournament for free. Is that correct?
It is, which is incredibly exciting news. You just have to have an account with Amazon, free to sign up. I think all the games are going to start at 7:30 or 8:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time if you're on the Eastern Seaboard, so a bit of prime-time cricket action. And they'll have full replays, highlights packages, everything for people to catch up on as well.
How good. Sounds pretty good to me. Australia's first match of the tournament is on October 1st against New Zealand in indoor. Now, LJ, before we let you go, the crew here at the Unplayable Podcast, we've all been submitting our breakout contenders for the season. I'm sure you've heard we've all nominated 5. And, I mean, you're a regular contributor here as well, so we need to get your 5 as well. There has been a bit of controversy over some of the other picks, but we won't go into that now. We want to hear who you're nominating to have 5 massive seasons this year.
Yeah, after Louis Cameron's suggestions, I did consider putting Elise Perry in there, but no, I've decided to go with a few domestic stars who might be breaking out this season. An all-female cast from me. I've not had my finger on the pulse of the men's game just of late. The big one I think for me is Sienna Ginger. I know her name came up from some of the others as well, but she was just tremendous across that Auss-A series against India recently with bat and ball, and I think she's someone who's going to end up playing a lot of games for Australia, and I think this will be her season to really step up and get her chance to play a bigger role for the Heat in particular. Strong Queensland flavour here because my next one's Lucy Hamilton, another player who's been going very well for Auss-A and should get a very good run for the Heat this season as well. Very exciting left-arm quick. To no one's surprise, I've also got Charlie Knott in there. Probably already has broken out a bit, but this could be the season she breaks into the Australian 11. She's had a huge winter over in England.
And I imagine must have come into calculations for the Aussies as Grace Harris's replacement.
Yeah, I did think she might have been the one to get the call up as the replacement player, to be honest. She has been over here for the last couple of weeks as a backup player for the one-day series, and she was smoking them in the nets. Looking very good, and took a couple of good catches in the field when she came on the other night too as a sub fielder. So I think it's all about an opportunity opening up for her. You know, it might take an injury or two, but I think when she gets a chance, she's going to grab it.
Even to have that time with the senior squad in new conditions, I mean, that'll be invaluable for her long term as well, I imagine.
Yeah, and she's just such a composed player, takes everything in. You can just tell she would have learnt heaps from that. So very excited to see what she brings back to the domestic season off that opportunity.
So 3 Queenslanders so far, LJ. Are you going to go 5 from 5?
No more Queenslanders. The next one's a New South Wales breaker who is also coming off a very good Aussie campaign, Annika Learoyd. Very exciting young top order batter who did have a good season for the Breakers last year in WNCL, but I think she's going to go to another level this season. And if she gets a good run with the Thunder, I think she could make some big steps in her T20 game as well.
Nice.
And finally, a bit more of a left field one. Doesn't have a WBBL contract at the moment, but I am quite excited by the prospect of the ACT wicketkeeper Grace Lyons, who was Australia's wicketkeeper at the Under-19 World Cup earlier this year. Scored a 97 in the WNCL last season, and I just get the feeling that with no Katie Mack at the ACT, they're going to need some players to step up, and she seems like someone who could do that.
So it might be a case of if she has a big spring challenge for the ACT, one of the WBBL clubs will pick her up?
Yeah, I think keepers are always a hot commodity. People want to back up one. A lot of clubs don't have a good backup keeper. So, you know, if any injuries come along or there's that last spot to fill in a list, I think she could make a push for it.
And how would you sort of describe her game? Is she more an Alyssa Healy type keeper or more a Beth Mooney type accumulator with the bat? How would you sort of put her down?
Well, we haven't seen too much of her yet, but I think she is someone who's just going to grow in her batting game and maybe be a bit more of that. Beth Mooney, I haven't seen too much explosiveness from her so far, but I think definitely one to watch.
Outstanding, LJ. So Ginger, Knott, Hamilton, Learoyd and Lyons. Good luck. And, of course, we want to hear all your listeners, breakout contenders as well, especially the left field ones. We love the left field ones. So keep them coming in to podcasts at cricket.com.au. LJ, thank you for the update. We will touch base with you again very shortly as Australia's World Cup campaign gets underway.
Thank you.
Richo, we got LJ's picks there for breakout players as well. Sienna Ginger, always more room for her on the train, that's for sure. Any other names there that sort of took your eye?
Well, there's a few that have matched up with what Louis and Jack have had.
Yep.
So, nothing really surprising. Lions, I'm not too familiar with. So
no, I haven't seen any of her other than just the scores that she got in the WNCL last year. So let's see if she gets a WBBL contract this year.
I mean, it's definitely that's more what a breakout is than what Louis said with Annabelle Sutherland. So yeah, thanks to Laura for those.
I'm glad Louis is cuffing a little bit for that decision as well. Domestic cricket, let's talk about it. As we're recording this on a Wednesday, we've got live cricket happening with Australia A, the Australia Under-19s, South Australia versus WA in the One Day Cup today, and also WA taking on Queensland in the WNCL opener. So lots happening as we speak, but there's also been quite a bit of cricket happening in the last week. So we'll just touch on that a little bit. Why don't we start with Hugh Weebgen, who, 115 not out off only 94 balls, his second match for the Bulls. He captained the Australian Under-19s to that World Cup win, which was early last year. So he's obviously part of that group that is really set for big things. But to do that in your second game, under such pressure as well, the match situation, they were 5 for 106 after 25 and a half overs, and they still need 215 in less than half of their overs remaining. So one of the great knocks, and we've already had some classic matches this season.
Yeah, it's been a hot start to the One Day Cup, hasn't it? And like everyone's kind of beaten everyone apart from that, WA Queensland game, and Queensland being undefeated. It feels like, there's a little bit of a round robin kind of feel to it where everyone's kind of, getting a win and then losing their next game. But yeah, incredible chase for a young kid in his second game under pressure. As you said, they started pretty poorly with the bat. Jack Wildermuth as well has been in some touch to start the season for Queensland. So they'd be feeling on top of the world with how they've started the season. Michael Nessa doing Michael Nessa things again with the new ball.
And with the bat as well.
Yeah, and with the bat. Just what a competitor. Yeah, 41 off 23 that game in that chase the other day. So I'm just wiping pink confetti off my chair here. Yeah, great start. Like One Day Cup it is a great competition. Like all of these guys have prepped for this start to the season. You've got big names playing and they'll filter in and out over the summer. But some of these players they're international players that don't get opportunities. So this is their showground to show how good they are before, all the eyes of the Big Bash are on them, in a couple of months' time. So, yeah, it's been a great start. And as you said, it rolls on into Adelaide next and WA will be looking to bounce back.
And that's the thing. I mean, given it is still footy season, I suppose, for around most of Australia, it's not quite Big Bash season. I mean, a lot of eyeballs aren't really on this competition at this point in time, but it still doesn't lessen the performances at all, does it? So it's important to take note of what's happening and, it's a great time to put your name up to further honours.
Absolutely. And I would say to anyone out there, if there's a game in your city, get down and watch because these guys are, as you said, it is still footy season and traditionally, apart from the diehards, the One Day and Shield are literally for that. But get down and watch a One Day game. It's great entertainment. Yeah. It's good for the family. But, you're seeing some of the best, not only young talent coming through in terms of Hughes' case, but also, like we said, these seasoned professionals that have played international cricket. Talk about Michael Nesta and, look at that Queensland team, Matt Renshaw, Marnus Labuschagne. So you're getting up close and personal with, some of the great domestic players of this country. So, I can't speak highly enough of the competition. It is one of the great one-day comps.
Oh, sorry, I have to correct myself as well. Hugh Weeb Gen.
Yeah, I was going to
Hard G. Yeah, so I got confirmation from Stevie G over there at Queensland Cricket. Yep. He's their media manager. Weeb Gen. Hard G for all the fans.
So I got it right. You got it wrong to start with?
I think so, yeah.
I'll touch on him as well quickly. Outstanding kid. I know you said under 19 captain, but just a great character, really, really down to earth. Technically correct. He's going to have a massive future, obviously, but he's just one of these kids who doesn't get carried away. Like a lot of kids you see come in now, if they have some success, even if they don't, they want bad sponsorships. They want Oakley sponsorship. I don't think this kid cares about any of that. He just purely is invested in the game. He works so hard. He's John Davison's been a really close mentor of his. I've seen them working together at Queensland, but through
with batting or bowling,
or both, because he does bowl some spin, but. Yeah. With Nathan Lyon's relationship with John Davison, whenever Nathan Lyon comes up to Queensland and works with John, Hughes in there facing Nathan Lyon. So I would dare say there's a decent player of spin that's going to emerge purely through that aspect of being able to train with Nathan over the years. So
that's great.
Silly. None of us had him as a breakout.
Yeah.
Although you could say an under-19s Aussie captain's probably always going to make it at some point. So, one to watch for sure. It's definitely going to be a future international superstar, I think.
And on that being focused, I mean, when he got his century, you can look back at the replay. There was no celebration. He barely even took his helmet off. Yeah. It was almost as if he felt inclined to take it off. No smiley. I mean, the job wasn't done, of course, but if you make your first 100 for your state, you're going to, I would have thought, show a bit of emotion, but there was none.
Yeah, it's incredible. And you could, that's unusual. Like, it's just business, pure business. And like, there's no... You could see that and be like, oh, wow, but deep down he would just be so invested in the game, so enjoying himself so much. And he's such a polite young kid. We saw him in the Big Bash last year in that weird game in Perth where Cam Bancroft and Daniel Sams got concussed. He actually came into that game as a concussion sub and hit a 6 right at the death off Jason Berendorf, I think it was, to put the Thunder in the box seat. So he's at small sample size, but under pressure in the Big Bash, and he's recently signed for the Brisbane Heat. So I dare say there's going to be a big summer on the horizon for him in Heat and Queensland colours. Maybe
a bit of Sheffield Shield action for him as well, you'd have to imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah, as I said, technically one of the when you see these kids at that age, that's the first thing you notice, and he looks like he's got it all figured out. So, there's going to be a lot of hype around him now.
Now, you mentioned getting down to games. There was a great example at Allan Border Field earlier in the week when Mitch Owen hit a 50 off 20 ball, some sixes over the offside, which you know all about. And it was just like a great display of hitting He was out in the 6th over, so didn't see a lot of it. But then Matthew Wade came in and hit a fast 100, and Tassie smashed whoever they were playing in that one.
That was against Victoria.
Yeah, so I mean, you're going to get action when you come down to watch the One Day Cup.
Well, and then Glenn Maxwell when he made his 100.
Yep.
Did you see the spectator catch?
That was great.
So you come down to the games, you get those opportunities, especially at grounds like AB Field where they are boutique and you can get really close to the action. You got Glenn Maxwell running around in domestic cricket. Get down there and watch. I can't speak highly enough of how good these guys actually are, and we all see it in the Big Bash. But the one-day game is unique in its own right, and you get to see a little bit more of them in action. So definitely get down there.
Now, Australia A, they are taking on India A in their second 4-day match. The first one, well, it was a run fest, I guess you'd say. Both teams made over 500 and declared before Sam Constas got some runs in the second innings, which was good to see. Then in the second match at the same venue, India won the toss and chose to bowl, which did certainly raise a few eyebrows. But Australia A got 350 on the first day. Sam Constas, another 49. Nathan McSweeney putting his hand up with 74. And Jack Edwards, 88. That brings a smile to your face.
Well, my man.
Going to be teammates.
Well, is that a tick?
Well, not yet. Come on, not yet.
Well, it's his first, stride to the crease since I tipped it. So, look, there's more to come for Jack, absolutely no doubt. But that first game, definitely odd. You schedule an A game in September. You would think you'd play the game a bit more. I don't know. It's great batting practice, but I feel for the guys bowling. So hopefully this second game is more like a traditional Indian Red Bull game where we get a bit of a contest rolling and, day 4, all of a sudden, maybe a team you could bowl them out, but also there's a run chase on the cards and the wicket deteriorates. Maybe they're using the same pitch. That would be good to know because I dare say that one from the first game would still be
pretty good to bat.
Still be decent to bat on. So maybe it is the same pitch. Maybe they've agreed to do that. But hopefully there's more of a game and the guys get more of an experience of what an Indian Red Bull game is really like.
One of Australia's nemesis is Mohammad Siraj is in this team as well. So he bowled about 13 overs on the first day. Good challenge for those guys who, want to test themselves against a pace-level bowler, and Siraj is certainly that.
Oh, well, and it goes big tick for Sam Constas, the way he's started.
Yeah. Well,
like you said, first game, but also runs in this most recent game as well. So he's in great form. And all that talk of, who's going to take his spot kind of calms down a little bit when he's making runs. So, yeah, great start to the summer for him. And as we said last week, like the competition from any team that has an India A, B, C, like they're always going to be strong, and especially in their own conditions. So, yeah, any performance from these young kids for the Aussie A's is going to be noticeable for sure.
If you're in Brisbane, there's also a great opportunity to go down and watch Australia's next generation in action, Richo. Australia's under-19s are playing India's under-19s. At the minute, they've got 3 50-over matches and 1 4-day match in Brisbane before they have a 4-day match in Mackay as well early next month. There are some exciting names there. John James got 77 in the first match. And from an Indian point of view, well, they've got some exciting names as well. Shirin Vanchi, the 14-year-old IPL superstar, is in this team. He got 38 off about 20 rocks in the first game. So you know what he's going to deliver. If you want to get your first eyes on this kid, I mean, you're not going to have a better opportunity than this, are you?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely give him a shout out to get down there and watch. I wonder if he brings a parent over on tour just to look after him after the game and on the days off because he's so young still. But as you said, John James, young all-rounder from New South Wales. Even for the Australian kids, like these are the guys that in 5 years are going to be Big Bash names, pushing for Australian selection in one day in Test cricket. So whilst they're not household names obviously yet, they will be pretty quickly. So no better way than to get down and see them in the flesh and start getting some stocks invested in some of them and breakout players next year and future years. There'll be quite a few of these guys being mentioned. So I mean, the Indian team, as we just said, they're competitive at any level and they gave the boys a bit of a touch-up game 1. So hopefully our Aussie boys can get a strong performance together for game 2 and make a good series of it.
Well, just on going to the next level, Will Malachite, who was the captain of the Aussie boys, I hope I'm saying that right as well, he was drafted into the Western Australian one-day cup squad for the first couple of matches as well. So he's right on the cusp of already playing for his state, and that's a great sign considering he's still under 19.
Yeah, I mean, speaking from experience back when we were 19s, anytime you were in the Aussie 19s program and you started to show basically put performances together at the Aussie 19s level, all of a sudden states you start getting rookie contracts, you start getting picked in squads and stuff. So I think it's natural that anyone who performs in these next 3 games will all of a sudden start getting looked at by the state teams, and that's really how careers start.
Absolutely. So good luck to the lads. They're playing at Ian Healy Oval in Brisbane over the next couple of weeks. So get down there and watch them if you can. Free entry, I believe. Richo, England's test squad has come in as well. 16 players they've named for the biggest series of their lives, no doubt. Ben Stokes is leading them. Ollie Pope, no longer vice captain. They've given that to Harry Brook, who's taken over the white ball leadership as well. And they've got 6 quicks in there and only 1.5 spinners, I'd say. So what do you make of the squad and any standout names?
Well, it's a strong squad, no doubt. As you said, the quick bowling, there's always some question marks with not with personnel, but with their bodies.
Yeah.
And there's still a bit of time to go between now and that series kicks off. So I think they're covering bases there. But yeah, I mean, the bowling looks strong. And I know over the years, anytime England's come to Australia, that's been the biggest thing. Can they take 20 wickets with pace on the, traditionally, hard, flat Australian pitches? So I would say they've definitely got that firepower to do so, but it's, as I said, a bit of water to go under the bridge before now and then. And I mean, hopefully for everyone's sake, they're all cherry ripe and ready to go, because that will be a mouth-watering series. Will Jacks is probably the interesting one, and you would say as a backup spinner, isn't he? So, but he's an outstanding cricketer as well. I've seen him up close in white ball games, just how destructive he can be with the bat, but also, he's got a test 6 or 7 for, I think, with the ball. So he can play. Strong squad. Jacob Bethel, another one who's we've seen a little bit in Big Bash. Got to be one of the best players going around in international cricket in no time. So, they're going to be up for it. It's a really strong squad. And I think the Lions are out here at the same time. So I dare say there'll be some, if there is injuries, there'll be some shuffling of the decks and there'll be guys ready to go that are in the country already. So, a lot to look forward to.
Jax, he's an interesting one, isn't he? Because he's a real strapping guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, he's got the height like Bashir, and it seems like England want tall spinners for the bounce over here. So that sort of makes sense that they've picked him, even though he's not really a frontline spinner.
Yeah.
But that hasn't stopped them in the past. Like, Moeen Ali was their frontline spinner at the last Ashes, and he did well.
Yeah. Well, I think they're going to back their pace in, aren't they? And then play supporting roles. I mean, Joe Root can obviously bowl. And as I said, the Lions guys will be out here. So like Rehan Ahmed's going to be around. So there's options. I'm not sure if Liam Dawson's in the Lions team as well, but he's always a ready-made competitor as well. So they've got options. I mean, they're a strong cricketing nation, no doubt. So they're going to back their pace in first and foremost, and then the spin will play a supporting role, almost similar to how Australia do it in terms of starting a game, and then Nathan comes into it, days 4 and 5. So, strong squad on paper, and as we know, that's not where the game's played though.
So England's 6 quicks are Jofra Archer, Gus Atkinson, Bryden Cass, Matthew Potts, Josh Tongue, Mark Wood. First test in Perth, they're all fit. Who do you pick?
Well, they all bowl fast. So there's not that, he might not thrive in Australia. I think they all got pace.
Atkinson probably the slowest of them, would you say?
Oh, he's fast.
Is he?
Yeah, he's really fast. I'd say Potts, but he's still
he's sharp.
Pushes, they're all 140s on their day, and as we've seen with Wood and Archer, they're 150s. So, I mean, for me, being a fast bowling lover, I would love to see Atkinson or Archer, Wood, and then whoever you want to go with them. Just pick the 4 quickest, and especially in Perth, just go head on straight away first game.
Root can bowl spin if you need to. Maybe Bethel.
I just like, and we've seen India do it, especially at Perth when they 4 quicks, Bumrah, Shami, and then throw some guys around the periphery with those guys. But it's pretty daunting to come up against, and Australia won't admit it, but that's a good stable of fast bowling, and that is what wins you games. So, I'm picking those 3 for sure, and then whoever. I mean, Tongue's, you could make a case for all of them. Tongue's quick. He's performed well so far in international cricket. Potts as well has done it for a bit of a longer time. So, any of them are going to be ready to go.
And Cass has had a good white ball record for England as well recently, so he can certainly do it. I watched a bit of Tongue in that India-England series that just recently completed, and he was wayward, but he could really get it right. And when it's on, like, it's sort of unplayable, but he can bowl 5 wides and all that. But that's fine. Yeah. If you can back it up at the other end of the equation as well, I suppose.
Yeah. That might have been a one-off. He reminds me a little bit of Scott Boland in terms of his action. Big, strong, kind of comes in at the stumps, but he's also dominated county cricket for years. And as you've just said, he started well to his international career. Cass, people wouldn't know as much about, but yeah, white ball cricket mainly adds a batting aspect as well, and just a competitor. So I think the kind of character that will probably thrive in an Ashes cauldron when, the crowds are really getting stuck into him. So, at this stage, I think it's a really strong squad. I can't think of who's been left out that should be there. So, bring on that first test. I can't wait already.
And we might see all 6 throughout the course of the series. You never know. I mean, if they do choose to rotate, because we're not going to see Archer and Wood play all 5. So
you dare say there'll be some rotation. I doubt any of them. That's probably the one unknown, is that you haven't got any there that you could safely say can play every test. And I mean, the opposite side of the Australian team, that's probably the one thing we've banked on, isn't it? That we've always got that ability to be like, well, he's going to be there, he's going to be there, he's going to be there. Now, there is some question marks this time around, but there's a beauty in the unknown of those English quicks.
All right. Hey, Richo time.
We're going international again this year?
No, this one's coming from Western Australia, actually.
Okay, nice.
So thank you to Dan M, who submitted a question via the online email address. I forgot what it was called.
There's someone there.
So he asks you, Richo, hey, Richo, I'm a vegan who always likes to imagine, delusionally, that I was good enough to play international cricket. Are you still vegan? And if so, do you feel that this impacts your performance? That's question 1.
Good question. Am I still? I'm not.
Okay.
So since I've had kids, things change. The fridge becomes a whole lot more about them. So, and my wife does all the cooking, and she adds certain things to all foods, and I just eat them. But yeah, I don't eat meat. Still don't eat meat. I eat fish. That's mainly the main change. So basically, no dairy. Has it impacted performance, or did it? I think if you ask the people who were in strength and conditioning and fitness at the time, I definitely think they would say that it did.
Really?
And again, everyone's got opinions on this stuff, and I know traditionally it hasn't been something that people do. I know I lost a lot of weight, and I have never put it back on. Like I was, early 20s, I was early 90 kilos, whereas now I'm probably mid 80s.
Yep.
But there's good and bad to everything. That's more weight to carry around. Especially when I was playing 4-day cricket, I felt I was getting injured all the time, basically. So all of a sudden I leaned up and felt like, whilst I maybe wasn't bowling as fast, but is there a correlation? I don't know. Has anyone ever studied it? Like that's, if you really want to know, someone's got to put some science behind it. So I felt like it helped me recover. I felt like I didn't have as many injuries as what I had when I was younger, but also because I was younger, maybe I had injuries. So there's no right or wrong. I just felt better. I felt leaner, healthier. And for me, that was the way it felt, but everyone's different.
Okay, so we need to do a study on stress fractures. That was number 1.
Any
and then a
uni
study
students out
on
there?
veganism as well.
Uni students out there looking for some projects.
Definitely, yeah. Get some studies.
Get some studies, send them in.
Case study here.
We'll find a little prize.
The second part of the question is, what did you eat to perform at the highest level, and were there any places that were difficult to tour as a vegan?
It's a good question.
Dan's on the money.
The hardest place was always India. And it was good for vegetarian, because basically half the country is vegetarian. So, but then when you're adding the vegan label to things and trying to explain with language barriers in certain pockets, it can be challenging. But when we were there with Australia, we always had a chef that we brought over. So all of a sudden you've got this kind of bridge between, he would go in the kitchen, explain it, break it down, almost do the cooking as well for us. So that made things easier. But definitely earlier on, India was challenging. And that was actually where I reckon I became vegetarian. I reckon I made the decision to add an IPL. It was such a long time. I watched the doco and I was like, I'm just going to do it here because I'm in India. It's easy. And it kind of started from there. So I'm trying to think what else. Yeah.
Yeah. What were the foods you would lean on? What was it?
Basically everything that isn't meat or dairy. Like eating vegetables, so much veggie, tofu, chickpeas became a staple. And people would laugh, but you can do a lot with a chickpea. And we're getting into funny territory here, but this is what this segment's about, isn't it? So sorry if I'm boring people, but there's a lot you can do. There's a lot more out there than what you think, I guess. And you just have to be willing to plan, or I reckon prep, but also do some research and find out what you need. Because really, you could eat French fries for every meal and be called vegan, but you're probably not going to feel great. So you got to do some research.
So next week we'll get your top 5 chickpea recipes.
Oh, my breakout legumes for 2025-26.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Dan, for that question.
Thanks.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
And keep them coming into podcasts at cricket.com.au. Richo, another good episode in the can. Thanks again to Qantas for sponsoring this podcast, and we'll catch you next week.
Yep, no confetti next week, but thanks for that. Glad to announce the news, and I won't wear this every week, but maybe I can dig out some other Sixers memorabilia and give it a run. But yeah, great pod, enjoyed it.
Go the Sixers.